Live.
Say it, dude.
Heyo, what's good, people?
Yo.
How's everyone doing tonight?
I feel like you're expecting a response, but they don't have a voice
someone
yet.
just said they're drowning in a P-tub, so...
It's drowning in a... No, that's their name. Their name is Drowning in the P-Tub.
Or he could be doing it, too. Why not
And then he
both?
said monkey. He said monkey. He's doing fine. He's having a good time.
Handling the quarantine while I see.
Forlorn Foundry. We are Forlorn Foundry. Hello.
Hello, how's it going, guys? So, things are a little different this stream around. We're going to do like a whole call-in, kind of like a radio show, I guess. So if you guys want to call in, if you have questions you want to ask, join the Discord and then join the questions VC voice chat. And basically, we'll funnel you all in and you can ask us one-on-one or just chit-chat for a little, hang out for a little. Does that sound?
Just get on by the fire, get all cozy and say what's up. Hello, I'm from Germany, and yes, we are basically dying. Well, I'll tell you, Zoro, game, we're also dying too.
I'm doing all right.
So, well, we are okay.
Yeah,
but
we're fine.
The quote unquote we, as in like where we are, we're in New York, so it's not our first time as Ground Zero, but we'll make it through.
I haven't left my house in 2 weeks, so.
Yeah, I haven't left my house in 3 months, so I'm ahead of the curve, guys.
Sure. What's with this sloth emoji? What is this?
Sloth emoji. Oh, we're
Oh,
cursed.
it's not even a sloth. Ukraine.
Oh, it's not?
Oh man, we got some Italians in the chat.
We got some Italians.
Yeah. We haven't had a Forlorn Foundry stream in a while, Camden, so that's why. Alright.
Yeah, haven't streamed in a while. Haven't uploaded in a little while.
So we want to do
We're doing great.
Yeah, what have we been up
Let's
to?
let's start it with where have we been? I mean, we uploaded a video that explains more or less what we've been kind of doing and what we are doing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Namely, the big thing that's on our plate is SCP Purge. Our containment breach video, which I think right out at the gate I want to specify by calling it a containment breach video. This isn't a video adaptation of quote unquote containment breach, any of the games or anything like that. This is just the event that can happen on these facilities where things go a little not so good. So we're doing our own interpretation of it. We're doing our own video we have some interesting things planned with it. Oh shit.
No.
Oh dude, guys, I hate to break it to you, but containment gets breached.
Yeah, sorry guys. Don't ban us from our own YouTube channel. What have I been up to? Just staying busy. We're just trying to work. I've been working from home as an editor, so that's been keeping me busy. Although sadly a lot of people I know, including people Jake's notes too, because we have the same friend group, are like completely out of work. So
yeah, there's been a few layoffs. Here, I mean, look, we're not getting political, but this is definitely a very interesting time, and it looks like we have our first person waiting in the questions voice chat.
Oh snap!
So I think we'll start with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we can do, we have a few other questions that are queued up in terms of just text. These are in the Discord. We're taking it from Discord first. And once we've gone through that, we'll take a look at some of the YouTube chat one.
Yep. Oh, that is a good point. So my mic is only on one channel.
You need to mirror it, dude. Rookie mistake, man.
How do I...
Our video with 4 million views doesn't have audio mirrored properly.
It's just a curse.
So we'll see. It's a curse. Here it is.
How do I mirror though in Streamlabs?
That's a fantastic question.
If anyone knows the answer, please tell me.
I would say,
but I don't want to waste people's time trying to figure out that little thing.
Yeah, this is something that I definitely think would have been dealt with. But you know what? It's all good. Let's take our first questionnaire fellow, and we'll give them a listen. Give them a little listen. See what they have to say. If they say any bad words, I'm gonna kick them in the teeth. So we'll welcome in Cletus Canuck. He's muted. Let's bring this guy in here.
Bring him on.
Hello,
Hey,
Cletus.
How's it going?
How you doing?
How much one about you just walked away to take a piss?
You know, I mean, that is entirely his right, and he left.
No. Yeah, we're going strong.
He wasn't a little shy, kind of counterintuitive to what we're aiming for here.
I think we're too aggressive. We just gained up on him. You know.
He actually left. I think he may have left the server entirely.
Oh no! What?
So.
What happened?
Listen, we're a little too forward. We were a little too aggressive. Let's try Pajoo. I hope that I don't know. Let's say hi to him. Hello.
Hello, Pajoo.
I think you're still muted. Let me.
They're muted too.
I could have sworn I fixed this. Just hold in there, buddy. We're gonna get you.
He muted himself.
Did you mute yourself?
That's my guess.
I simply do not know.
I feel like
he should be able to speak.
Double tasking.
Let's do this. Does that work?
Hey,
hello.
How's it going?
There it was. Yep.
It was push to talk, and I haven't set it up, so it was.
I'm sorry about that. Classic rookie mistake on our part. How are you doing? What's up?
I'm great. I'm from the Netherlands, also in quarantine. So, yeah.
You enjoying it?
We're all brothers in this quarantine.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
How you staying sane? What are you doing?
What I'm doing? I'm sitting here in bed, watching you guys live stream. I'm a big fan of you guys.
Yeah. What's your favorite video?
The Red Reality one.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, because that's like really in my taste. I really love more thought-provoking movies, you know, where you watch it and you still think about it afterwards, like what's the full story.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite SCPs.
It really comes down to, it's just a testament to good writing. That SCP was just, we did an adaptation of it. We tried to stay as faithful as possible, and it just allows the writing to really come through.
And the actor was great too.
Oh yeah, Kevin's amazing.
Shout out to Kevin. Yeah. Kevin was so fun to work with.
Yeah.
And he was also in our other video, No Fury. If you guys haven't seen, just check it out.
He is in No Fury as well.
I don't remember off the top of my head if I've seen it, but I will look at it.
It's a pretty recent one. I'd say that's our most underrated.
I'm just really bad with names and titles.
It's the one with it's shot, half of it's on a beach. I feel like that's.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen it. Yeah.
People get buried alive.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
Hey, spoiler! What are you doing?
Well, you gotta entice them. It's not a spoiler. It's
right.
pretty,
Ooh, people getting buried.
It's the first scene in the video.
Yeah, but.
Do you have any other you have questions for us?
Yeah, you have any questions? Yeah, let's hear it.
I also want to make movies and go into business like you guys. So I have some questions about that. Mainly adapting. I also want to make my own SCP stuff, when I can, for school projects and, maybe even official works. I don't know, that's just a pipe dream, but that's the plan. And what I'm most interested in is the difficulty with adapting the SCPs. How much time and thought do you put into adapting it, changing it?
So, I'll just hop on this like right away. If that's all right, James.
Yeah,
when it comes to adaptation, that's one of the things. I'm glad that you're aware of it, because a lot of people, when they look to SCP and look to adapting it into a different kind of form, they just they look to the classics. They look to the very popular ones, and these are definitely they're great. They're great for their own reasons. But adapting them isn't always easy. You have some that are particularly close guarded by copyright, and then some of them are also, just by the nature of their material, they're particularly difficult to get on film, especially live action. So the number one thing that we're looking for when we look at like any SCP, I mean, of course it comes to writing, but the thing that stands out before we even read the whole article, we look and see within our tool set, do we have the ability to adapt it and give it justice? If we don't feel that we can present an SCP in its, or at least present an angle of it that gives it, justice, and that we're not doing it, a service, we won't do it. If we feel like we can do it properly, given our resources, given the people that we know, our set of actors, then we'll pursue it. So the number one thing comes down to, can we actually do it based on our production ability?
Yeah,
Which is why well enough. It has to be well enough, because we're not the types that like to do something twice. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it good, and then we're going to move on. So if you look at some of our earlier works, the scope of them is somewhat limited just by the nature of, we saw what we could and couldn't do, and we pursued SCPs that were good and also were within our reach to actually complete. And as we've been able to build up our team and get more people on board, we've opened up our horizons when it comes to different things to do. CGI is like the number one that comes to my mind. Before then, we were very restricted in, are we going to be able to show monsters? But having some very talented CGI artists, we were able to open up that door, and now we have more things we can work.
Shout out to Max and Nick, by the way.
Absolutely.
Did a great job. Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, look, when you said it, it's like, oh yeah, I do see that when I go through your videos, It's
I mean, especially for us, it's kind of been like a big experiment. Like, if you've noticed, a lot of the videos kind of jump around in style and tone. I feel like we're finally coming to a point with like what works best for us. But definitely the first year and a half has definitely just been just us trying things out and seeing what sticks, what doesn't.
Yeah, you can see a very clear progression in kind of our abilities and the different things that we feel confident in tackling.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, for example, the 303 video, it has CG, but it has limited amount, because I guess you guys were just trying it out then.
Yeah, it was definitely our first time using CG.
Yeah, that's really good and wisely done. I respect for your work.
I appreciate that. It was achieving that balance of, if we show the whole monster, we lose a little bit of that mystery, but also, it was even the best CGI does not hold up super well if just presented head on. So having it done that way, we get to keep it narratively in a pretty tense sort of thing, and also showcase that there is indeed a creature here. So it was a good balance.
And just as like general filmmaking advice, I think the number one thing is, don't have an ego. Be really receptive to good critique, constructive critique, not just people shitting on you. And like, learn from others. Like, I learned so much just through, I mean, I did go to film school, but I really learned the most through peers and YouTube, honestly. Like, there's Rocket Jump Film School. There's a lot of really great, like Indie Mogul. There's a lot of really good YouTube channels that really help you kind of learn the filmmaking process, learn what pre-production is, what production is, what post-production is, how to edit, what programs to edit on. Because there's so many steps involved. It's a lot of organizing. It's a lot of, especially when you're working with a bunch of actors, how do you direct? How do you produce? How do you get all these people to come on time on the same day with the right practice, the right amount of rehearsal? And I feel like the only way to really learn is to learn from those channels, learn from your peers, and then just do it. And just try to learn from your mistakes. Really ask yourself, what I definitely do is, every time we make a video, every time we have production, I ask myself, we sit down and we're like, what could we do better? What wasn't so good? What was good? And just being honest with ourselves, not being worried about like trying to make ourselves feel like hot shit. Really trying to like take it as a growing experience. And I feel like that's the best approach in general, just towards most things in life.
And I've got kind of one more suggestion, and I think we need to move on.
100% agree.
With regards to adapting some SCPs, you said you were interested in getting into that. I think the best way that you could do that, or at least the simplest way, right off the bat, it would be focus on the character-based SCPs. There's a lot of SCPs that are people with unique kind of traits and unique abilities, and there's a lot you can do if you just kind of look at that angle. They're definitely easier to tackle, and if you have a really rock solid writing, that can pretty much overshadow everything else. So if you have a really well written interpretation of an SCP, and when it's based on a character, it's very easy to get just one actor in a room and then get the interview format. Very popular these days. Very easy to do.
Yeah.
So just something to consider. But definitely, when you're looking at SCPs, look to see what's within the realm of possibility for what you can do. Because if you overstep it, it can kind of very quickly get into an uncanny to sort of amateurish area.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
I got hundreds of ideas from this talk. That's Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No,
Yeah. No. Glad to hear from you, man.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. I maybe be asking some other stuff in the text, but thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Peace out, man.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
That was fun. That was nice.
That was fun. Yeah, very
First
nice.
caller.
And again, if anyone wants to get in here and talk to us like we did with that kind sir, you can join our Discord and just take a seat in the questions voice channel, and then from there you can. Well, we'll drag you in here when it's your turn.
Oh no! I think they see a familiar name in the questions voice.
I think I do, and I'm not entirely. I'm not entirely.
Sure if we should.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm considering that I can see that their message is also can I send super tough poop image? So we're gonna
Okay.
respectfully ignore that our next caller, and we'll bring in alcoholist Ukrainian boy.
Sounds about right.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, man? I cannot hear you.
I heard a beep.
I'm hearing a whoop whoop. We're not in push to talk anymore, so you could talk freely.
Oh. I don't know if we hear him. I raised his volume up too, just in case.
All right. Well, can't hear you, unfortunately. Gonna scoot you back in the other chat. Oh, I'm hearing something.
I'm hearing your echo. That's what
I am hearing the echo.
Alright, I guess we'll scoot you back in the queue.
I can see he's trying.
He's
You know what?
definitely trying.
Yeah. We'll just we'll put you back in there, and
Give
you
it a
can always
couple
type the
minutes.
question in the chat right there.
Alright. Maybe we'll pop you in back, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, where'd
perhaps.
Flame go? We just had Flame. They
We
disappeared.
did have someone who just popped out,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I'm gonna just check the YouTube chat real quick. 'Cause people are
Sure.
saying
No,
spamming
there's
chicken
definitely
nugget.
people saying they're saying
Some
chicken
interesting
nugget.
things.
I might have even said chicken nugget once.
What else? What is? How much? Okay, this is a good question. That builder guy asks, how much of your new project will be CG or practical? So I'm sure you guys have all seen Mr. Clay's SP96. It's not going to be that intensive. Like 2/3 of SP96 is just pure CG. It's mostly going to be practical. Almost all the locations are going to be practical. I'd say like 90% of locations will be completely real. Thankfully, just because we have access to these locations, that's the reason why this video is possible in the first place. Obviously, the only thing that is going to be CG are the monsters, and like 2 locations, which you'll find out. You'll have to wait. Anyway, you want to give Flamey's back? You want to bring them in?
Go ahead. You want me to drag him in?
Yeah, I don't know how to do these things.
Oh, okay, I got it. You said I'm gonna bring him in, and then you just sat there.
My bad.
Hello,
Hey,
welcome.
Hi.
No worries.
What's up, man?
How's it going?
All right. Hold on. I'm on mobile. Is my audio bad by any chance?
It's
No,
a
you're
little
fine.
crunchy, but we can
I'll
hear
raise
you
the
just
volume a little
fine.
bit.
All right. My question is, would you consider collaborating with other YouTubers like Markiplier or like a gamer YouTube channel?
You
Like,
got his email?
Yeah, you got the email. We'll hit him up right now, man.
no.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it would be really cool to have.
Yeah,
like, a
we would
guest
definitely,
in Containment Breach, something like that. But
absolutely, a famous voice. Even having someone, dare I even say the R word, react to our video.
Oh no.
Heaven forbid. No, that would definitely be interesting. We've collaborated a lot with other SCP YouTubers, so
Mhm.
it wouldn't be that far of a leap to have some others as well.
Yeah, shout out to Sumerian and Volgan, by the way.
Yeah,
They've been
Sumerian
building
Volgan, SCP Illustrated. I mean, we could just keep going.
The main issue with Markiplier and a lot of those guys is they're very, very hard to get in contact with. You basically need to know someone they know in person. Like, I've just noticed YouTubers after, like, once they hit the 500,000 point, it is so hard to get in contact with them. Like, we recently had Lord Bung a few months ago on our SCP podcast, and, like, even just trying to get in a word with him, trying to get contact with him was pretty tricky. I don't even know how we ended up doing it. Do you remember?
It was I mean, it was just asking. It was asking when we were at a point that we were, not some fans who were just like, hey, I want to do an SCP video, but people who had actually started making content. It's understandable. There's a lot of people who want to get into this sort of stuff, and there's a lot of people who are eager and all this, and they put out a trailer, and then it takes a lot to keep any project together, let alone one that's in like a sort of shared franchise like this. It's very easy to get kind of torn apart by the vultures. So we survived it, and I think he saw some of our videos, enjoyed it, and we were able to have a good conversation.
I will say the bigger we grow, the more likely we'll be able to get some bigger people to pull in, because I've just noticed when you get to a certain size, you have to just cut yourself off from the average show because they're getting flooded with messages and tweets all the time. So if you get that blue tick mark next to your name, or just a couple thing that says, hey, I'm not just a fan, it gives you a lot more access to certain people. So who knows, it might be possible down the line. Oh, shout out to Mingy. Right. Thank you, Mingy.
And yeah, Mingy. Hell yeah.
I have one more question.
Yeah, let's hear it, man.
Could you give us like any sort of like could you give away any sort of projects you're working on currently? Like a little hint?
Yeah, I mean, we'll tell them about Purge, right? Yeah, so basically
SCP Purge.
Our big thing, we're basically trying to move away from just doing a lot of tiny things and just major projects instead. So we're making a short film for a containment breach short film called SP Purge that we're currently in the process of. I mean, we'll be honest, COVID-19 is kind of slowing things down.
Definitely hard to get people in the same room.
But thankfully, we have plenty of VFX and post-production that we can at least start doing now. So we're not doing nothing, at least.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks.
y'all calling.
Yeah, dude. Had a good time with you.
All right, see you.
Peace.
I'll bring the alcoholist back, and he's figured it out.
He's figured it out? Awesome.
Hello, welcome back.
What's up?
Hello?
Hey.
Hello.
What's good?
Hey, I muted my mic manually, so that's why I couldn't speak.
No worries,
got
no
it.
worries.
So basically, I wanted to ask you if you have like a list of SCPs or general ideas that you would like to do something on in the future.
Absolutely. We've had a list of different SCPs. We've had it pretty much since we started. And as we hinted earlier with one of our other guests here, a lot of it's prioritized based on our ability to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's, of course, things that we're super enthusiastic to do, but we're waiting for certain things to fit into place before we can work on. One of the things, I'm seeing it in the chat as well, they're mentioning what sort of locations we can work in. That's a big factor in our decision to do a certain video. If we have access to a location, that can open up a lot of doors. Say, an office building. There's so many different SCPs that could be done there. We can get really creative. We can kind of consider maybe it could be a facility if you take the shots at the right angle. Mm-hmm. So we'll definitely look at it from that perspective. But of course, we have our dream list of things that we want to do, and some of them, we kind of move around based on things that end up happening. And right now, Purge is a great way for us to kind of bring a bunch of different ideas in and do something really interesting with all of them.
I will say, if Purge does well, there are definitely some bigger tales that we want to do. Me and Jake really like The Young Man, and we do have potential access to World War I Trench. So there's some more exciting stories that, if things go well, if our channel does well, who knows, it could happen in the future. So
yeah, it's definitely very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of your work.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you very much, man.
No problem.
Any other questions?
Well, I imagine it was. All right. Well, next one we're gonna bring in.
I was a little too slow on the draw there.
Yeah, we're gonna bring in Mingy. He paid $2 to ask a question.
Mingy, play nice.
I'm ready to.
Mingy's a friend of
ban
ours.
this guy. This guy's a rat. This guy's up to no good, and I have to put it out there. You have to know.
Just hold your finger on the trigger, Jake.
I'm ready to blast this guy into the next week. All right.
Okay.
Let's hear what he's got to say.
Anyway,
Mingy, you were live.
Hey
How
guys,
you
thanks for having me on board. I was actually curious about going back to sort of like a lot of the filming sets that you guys have.
Yeah.
During your short films, what sort of like individually, I want to ask you guys, like, what was the hardest part of being on like film sets? Like, what were some of the challenges that you guys have faced individually, Jake and James? If you guys can answer separately, please.
Yeah, you go first, Jake.
Okay. So if we're talking about specifically the film sets, difficulty typically, I mean, the number one thing, and something that unfortunately motivates a lot of what we do, there's a lot of expenses when it comes to filming, and
right.
One of the big things when we have any location is that typically for let's say a public location. Public locations, unless you want to do a run and gun sort of thing, you're going to require authorization and paperwork from the local government.
Right.
And in America, and specifically New York State, I can let you guys know, the local government does not move very fast at all, if at all. So even once we get to that point, we try to work with them. We're still looking at certain fees, and depending on the content of what we're doing, we're looking at additional fees. For example, if we were so audacious as to have something that resembles a firearm or a weapon on a set in a public location, we're already at a minimum spending probably around $1,000 to film there.
Yeah.
But having any sort of even the semblance of a weapon, we're looking at the opportunity to have the great privilege of having to pay for police to stay there and ensure that we're filming safely.
Right.
And at that point, we're very well beyond this being a small shoot, and it becomes essentially impossible. We're talking about paying police officers wages for that time that they're there, which we don't make any money from this. We don't pocket anything. We can't afford police officers' wages. But I'd say the difficulty really comes down to authorization and permission. But when we can get it to work, it works great.
Yeah, definitely. James?
I'm trying to think. I mean, definitely, I'd say the big thing, and this is kind of a general thing for sets, but like when directing, you're just constantly battling against time, and knowing that there's just like this continuous clock ticking, and like you have to balance between how much time can I spend trying to work with this actor to get this scene just right, but also knowing, hey, we only have like 6 more hours. I did realistically for this day. But at the same time, you can't think about it too much, because if you just start letting that get to you, it fucks up your game. And then if you start getting anxious, the actors start getting anxious, the crew starts getting anxious, and it can just fuck the whole thing. So I feel like
it's a balancing act.
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. Just trying to being aware of your emotional state, trying to just maintain a good vibe.
It comes down to it requires so much. It's having the preparation ahead of time to be able to know when it's time to pull the plug, because sometimes you want to give your actor the opportunity to really spread out and do as much as they can in that given time. You want to see different takes. If you had the option and the time in the day and the energy in the actor, you'd want to do a take as many times as possible, because one of them is going to be the perfect one. But you can't do that. You have to know when to pull the plug. And when you're dealing with a timeline or time frame enforced by the location, on top of just everyone's individual schedules, it's not reasonable to do that, and you have to know when to pull it. And sometimes if you feel like you haven't gotten it from the actor, it's tricky. Because you have to make the decision, like, that's the best we're gonna get, and we're gonna have to cut it there because we just don't have the time.
Right. I don't know if I'm allowed one more question.
We'll give you
actually
one more, man.
Before you ask.
Sure.
What did that Korean user say?
He just said, "Hey, 안녕하세요."
Oh, good.
Cool.
It looks like it looks like someone who's a Korean enthusiast. That's
very nice. Very nice.
Korean.
Let's.
So I mean, sort of like expanding from that, actually, typically when people see sort of more small time if I may say, film enthusiast, trying to, you know, make it a little big. One of the hard things that you guys obviously mentioned, in the, you know, just in my previous question was that funding is obviously something that's a little bit tricky and hard to work with. What made you guys sort of be able to sort of break through, I guess, that barrier and be able to make you guys sort of where you guys at now, you know,
So-
over 100K subs on YouTube and things like that?
I know for me, I need to suck like 10 dicks, and then we really got
Oh.
like, you know,
Oh.
and then a blood sacrifice on top of that. Really,
Oh,
that's kind of what made it
So,
happen.
I'll say that I had no knowledge that James was a cocksucker, or at least
Yeah,
beyond
well-
our beyond the sort of, you know, I knew he was a cocksucker, but not literally.
Yeah, I mean, you guys heard it here first. I mean,
This is a first, but I would say the serious answer to that would be kind of what I had hinted at earlier. I think our number one strength as a team, as kind of a channel, is our
Right.
ability to know what we can do. We don't bite off more than we can chew,
Yeah.
and because of that,
Right,
like,
that's it.
I mean, there's a question that one person asked it a bit earlier in our Discord, and the question was like, how much money does an average video cost?
right.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because we have a video up right now, the painting. It is, you know, at what, 4 million views or so.
Yeah.
Um, This video cost us, I believe, $30. Am I correct in that, James? I believe it was around $30.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
The video cost us $30 and has, you know,
Wow.
very easily returned
If
it.
you don't count the GoPro that I already owned.
Yes, correct. So in terms of what it is it's, again, we're identifying what we have the ability to do, and then we do it. And if we're keeping it within our kind of scope of like what we can do,
Yeah.
we're not overstepping, and we're not getting to a point where, you know, you look at the video and you're like, oh, this could have been so much better, if only they had X. But you know, we tried to move past that. I feel like it's that, and just kind of keeping up with it. We knew it would be a very slow thing. We felt that we would definitely get the hook and we would get viewers. We didn't know it would explode so much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there's
mean-
a little interference with Jake's mic. Just a heads up.
oh, is there?
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure exactly why that's happening. We did see it as something that would do fairly well, just based on, you know, we're getting into a fan base that's very enthusiastic about it, and we're creating content that does it service. And it was just consistency, keeping up with it, and I feel like that's what helped us break through.
Yeah. All right. Definitely good answer for sure. Thank you very much. I think the SCP community is very fortunate to have you guys making these sort of films. I know on Reddit, whenever we see the comments, people are very excited. So definitely keeping up the good work. And yeah, thank you for answering the questions.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you very much, man.
When we break quarantine, I'll buy you some T-Bell, okay?
Yeah, we'll get you some Taco Bell, man.
Yeah. FF. Press FF in chat, by the way.
All right.
Peace. So I just want to answer a couple
very
of
good.
chat questions. Shout out to that dude from Czech Republic. I was actually just in Prague like a month ago. Awesome place. Definitely want to go back. And then someone asked, I think, Jake, this is a very pertinent question. He asked, what is your favorite type of bread for both of us?
Okay. It's not as straightforward as you would think. I'm kind of.
Really?
You're asking it's pertinent. You think I have a very clear winner?
Well, I think it's pertinent because I've been baking bread recently.
Okay, yeah, you have
To
been
kill
on a
time.
bread. You have been like a slut for bread currently. I'll say this much. There's a lot of excellent types of bread, and I think the best thing with bread is if you have to use it in the right application. If I use a really dry bread for like a sandwich, I mean, we're all going to be very unhappy. At least in my opinion. There's just some good stuff. I'd say challah and brioche are
great.
two of the
Challah's
kings of
fucking
bread.
great.
They're sweet. They are alone. You could just keep eating it, in my
Yes,
opinion.
I've done that,
But
sadly.
when you introduce egg and syrup and cinnamon, you get French toast that is, you know, better than none other.
I don't really fuck with French toast that much.
You can.
It's not bad.
I can't
but,
kick you
like-
out, James. But I was about to. Have you know I
It's
tried?
aight.
Okay,
It's aight.
to each their own. In terms of other bread, I'd say like visit Korean bakeries. They make some great stuff.
make some
I'll
good
tell you, Asians know how to make their bread. And it's, you know, light, fluffy, just enjoyable. They make bread a meal rather than like a side dish.
Yeah,
like
more
Italians.
spongy, kinda.
Italians, you know, God bless them, but bread is a side dish.
I will say
It's a compliment.
I've been experimenting with So I tried to make sourdough and I fucked that up. The sourdough starter ended up smelling like nail polish, so that didn't really work out. But
I don't know how you do that.
So
how do you fuck it up that bad?
The temp, it's too cold in my house. That's what happened.
Nail polish?
Okay, so what happens is if it creates too much like lactic acid in the yeast for whatever reason, something chemically goes wrong, it smells. It literally creates whatever's in nail polish, that chemical.
That's terrible. That's actually terrible, Jim.
And supposedly people say it's not bad, but I tried to like fix it 3 times, and nope, it still has a pungent nail polish smell. So if you ever want to make nail polish from scratch, fuck up your sourdough.
Start with bread and fail at it.
Exactly, extremely. Because that was like the day 5. But I've been making pizza dough. If you make pizza dough and you just let it sit in your fridge for a couple days and then cook it, it's pretty good. It's basically almost like a poor man's or an easy way out for sourdough. And I did recently did an everything bagel seasoning, and that was pretty damn good. I don't know if I have a favorite bread. I mean, like rye is pretty damn good. Challah, as Jake was saying, was really good.
Challah's classic.
Those are like the top 2 off the top of my head. The first bagels are. If bagel is a bread, I don't know.
If bagel is a bread, then I am.
I'd say bagels.
That's it.
But yeah, this is stereotypical New Yorker answer.
It's the answer.
All right, let's see. What other questions?
Yeah, so there's a few other questions that are queued up here in our Discord, and again, we're hitting the Discords a little bit quicker when it comes to the questions, but definitely feel free to hop in here. What?
Like, James loved the woman in Czech. No, I didn't. I mean,
I
had nothing against the woman in Czech.
Czech women, very good, but James did not. No, James doesn't have that sort of game.
No.
So looking here, we've got. Let's take a look. So Kat, one of our mods on the Discord, asked us, "How long does it take for you guys to create a video? And what's your process for transcribing SCPs into reality?" So the adaptation process. What would you say, James? Like, what's typically the turnaround for our videos? At least when we were really cranking them out.
Fuck. I mean, when we were really cranking them out, I feel like we would start a month and a half before we ended up shooting it, and then another week or 2 for editing. So it basically take around 2 months per video, roughly. And of course, we layer, so we'd be working on multiple videos at the same time, basically. But obviously, we've completely changed after our little hiatus.
We made some adjustments.
Changed. I mean, I'm preferring the more after doing someone. I consider like the first year and a half our experimental phase, just us kind of learning and figuring things out, and we're still learning. But I feel like now it's like we have the resources and the team to do bigger stuff, so we're just gonna focus and pour energy into just one bigger project.
Yeah. It came down to we set a pretty lofty goal to be able to make live action adaptations and release them on a pretty much bi-monthly, like 2 a month. And we were able to adhere to it for a lot longer than I expected, honestly. Because you look at it, and when it comes to like any of the adaptation types, live action is one of those that there's so many moving parts and so many schedules to work with. To actually get it to line up that frequently, it requires a very tight kind of ship. And we were able to do it for some time, but it's kind of come down to it. We want to be able to put out more quality videos. We don't want to feel like we are being pressured to release a video before we feel it's received its final coat of kind of paint.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's essentially where we're at with that. And then in terms of the process of adaptation, again, it comes down to identifying what is the best thing to adapt, and then moving from the format of an SCP article, which you gain everything from an article by reading it.
Well, I want to
very cool.
Right there.
Sure.
Pajoa, it's related. Don't worry. He was asking, speaking of adapting SCPs, if you guys had the dream where you had all the money and resources you need to make an SCP, what video would you want to make, no matter how big or ambitious? I mean, immediately what I think of is, I forgot the number. It's like SCP-2000 something, but the body farm one.
2000. Just 2000.
Oh, just 2000. Yeah.
SCP-2000. I would say SCP-2000 or The Flesh That Hates.
Flesh That Hates. And for me recently, I just recently read SCP-5000, and that fucking kicks. I actually really love that SCP. It's kind of like another end of the world kind of situation where basically this guy, it starts, spoiler I guess, this is the beginning of the SCP, but basically what happens is an MTF unit comes into a Foundation and starts just killing everyone. And the guy escapes by getting into this suit that basically makes him invisible to everyone around him. and sustains his life. So he's basically going through and is like a tourist to like the end of the world, and is just kind of spectating the end of the world. And more stuff ends up developing and happening along the way. But it was like a really, really intense, interesting kind of mystery that he has to unravel. Like, why did this happen? Why did the O5 claim that their objective now is to kill the human race? So that was pretty fun.
Huh.
Yeah, you should read that one, by the way.
I'll definitely give it a gander.
I'd say it's one of the best ones I've read recently. There's more. I can't think of the top of my head. What other ones would we want to do? I mean, obviously, I want to do Young Man.
Yes, Young Man is definitely one of those that is on our top of the list.
Because we're both really into history, and we both like World War I a lot. It's a cool time period. I mean, there's a lot of good tales. I mean, like I like the Halloween ones. Those are fun. I always like the kitschy, dumb Halloween films that come out every now and then.
It's you know what? Now vending really scratched our kind of fun itch.
Yeah.
Because the SCP can get very, very, very kind of clinical and dark and drab very quickly, and it's definitely its strength. It can put you in that kind of mindset. But there's also room for fun. It's a shared universe, and with that, it's got such a huge variety of different things that we wanted to kind of have a little bit of that. Sort of a relief from dealing with some stressful videos. So
Yeah,
being able to
definitely helps
tackle it again, always fun. We'll still keep doing like the shorter ones. Definitely, we'll put them out kind of here and there. But just adhering to like the schedule that's very rigorous is something we're gonna move away from. And just work on really honing it in.
Yeah, in the hopes that our video quality will go up because of that. There's a payoff for the wait, we hope. That's the goal, at least.
My microphone, I guess, has been chopping out a lot. Unfortunately, it seems like it might be the weather.
It's not fully cutting out. It's just like it distorts a little bit every now and then.
Yeah.
Trying to think. So someone just asked if we have the full head, the full model of Doorman, and we do, but I don't see it on my computer. So sorry about that. I don't. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys now. If you guys just shoot numbers at me, I'm not gonna know it. Because even if I've read the SCP, my brain is horrendous with numbers. So if you guys just give like a small like title or like description of it, I'll have a much better idea of what SCPs you're talking about.
I think we might have I'm gonna look for the Doorman photo and send it to you if I can find it.
Gotcha. I have to take a piss. So Jake, if you want to take
good luck.
Take a question. Let just chit chat with the people.
Yeah, I can talk to the people. I think I could do that a little bit. All right. Yeah. Sorry if my mic has been choppy. It can do that from time to time. Let's take a look here and kind of scroll down the questions we've got in Discord. Someone asks us, Forlorn creature, are we related at all? No, it's just a complete coincidence that there's another SCP YouTuber that has the word Forlorn in their name. If you don't know Forlorn Creature, he makes these really, really awesome stop-motion Lego SCP videos, amongst other types of videos. Very, very talented. There's a huge amount of cinematic value to the work that he does, and I would definitely encourage anyone to go and take a look at it. Mystic Coco asks, how did you come up with the name for Forlorn Foundry? Well, there's nothing romantic about it. It ended up being us sitting down on my couch and just kind of bouncing different names back and forth. We wanted to have a name that would be striking, would kind of set a tone, and not necessarily bind us to any particular thing. We wanted to keep things a bit ominous, but not explicitly SCP. We weren't going to be like SCP live action. We wanted to have a bit of versatility. It's why our logo isn't, it's not the SCP logo. Our logo is our own logo, because we don't, we love SCP content and we want to continue doing it, but we want to have the option to put out any quality content should we decide to do so. The question was, why did we choose the name Forlorn Foundry?
Okay, yeah.
So I just went about explaining that. A very quick piss, by the way. Did you wash your hands?
I did.
I don't believe it was for a full 20 seconds with warm water.
But I haven't left my house today, so.
So now you're just smearing your dick fucking grease on your keyboard.
I'm not touching anyone. I'm literally in my room, isolated.
Very cool, James. I'm proud of you, man.
Look, when I leave the house, and I come back, or before I leave the house, I wash my hands 20 seconds. All right. I will say.
Great. I'm glad you wash your pee hands when it fits
okay,
you.
Jake, I did my part.
Yeah, you've done your part. Okay. Yeah, who made the animated logo? It looks cool. I have to actually check. It was commissioned.
It was.
Essentially, it was just a very simple and nice kind of animated logo. I'd have to find the name. I'm very
I will
happy
also
that
say
I don't remember her name, but she did a good job.
Shout out to my friend Gigi for helping us design the logo, and then our bud Edwin for just doing the finishing touches and making it in Adobe Illustrator.
Absolutely. Who would have thought that that logo designing is actually, there's a lot of shit that goes into it.
It was not easy, actually.
It's the right balance of, it's very much like designing a flag. You want it to be identifiable and striking, but not cluttered. Not a lot of, like, you don't want it to be so crazily full of detail, but you want it to be identified. So I think we struck a nice balance. Is it a smokestack? Is it a bomb? It's definitely a smokestack, but it looked like a bomb because their content is the bomb, you know?
Haha. All right, Dad.
Are you laughing? Are you laughing at me, James? This is our channel.
Boomer,
you should
bomb,
feel happy.
Get it? Yeah, you're welcome.
Now, that was bad. What happened after Science Girl used the mysterious vibrating device? Well, I mean, you do see the building collapsing. I'll tell you, to be kind of, I'll be very clinical with it. The vibration caused her body to stop existing, and because her body wasn't in the way, the vibrating device also then fell onto the surface of the building, which then vibrated it. It hit the resonance frequency of the building, and the whole thing collapsed. So
thank you, John.
Essentially, it blew her up, and then
I think he wants to know what happened on a molecular level, Jake.
Well, what happened? She she atomized. Every single cell in her body reached a resonance frequency together. For a moment, it was brilliant. You could see it in her face. It was just great. I would say release, and then there wasn't much else after that. It was all probably, I hope that she's in a better place now.
This is canon. She actually reached nirvana in those few seconds.
In those few it's very much like Cup of Joe. Yes. It's like her own kind of personal journey there. She literally, she did, see, the eat-meats were creepy but oddly nice. It was a nice video. Yeah, thank you. They're funny as hell. I hope you like the voices I came up with for them.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to record.
Little eat-me. Let's take a look. There's still a few more and a bunch coming in.
Oculus asks, what do you think about Ukraine? Honestly, I think of just Slavs and Adidas and vodka and 40 ounces.
I won't go political, but I will say in high school was around the time when we were in it. You had these very fun moments where the Ukrainian parliament would start beating the shit out of each other. Mm-hmm. You'd actually see it. There's videos of them beating the crap out of each other. And it didn't take very long afterwards for some people to start vacationing in Ukraine. Aggressive vacationing, I believe, would be the term. And we'll just leave it at that. Unfortunate stuff all around, but probably a wonderful country. I knew a person from the Ukraine. Fascinating man.
I never knew that.
You don't remember Barniak?
No. Oh, Richard Barniak?
Yeah, dude. Okay, just drop the full fucking name.
Why
not, man?
I didn't know he was from Ukraine.
He for sure was Ukrainian. He showed me those videos of the parliament beating the crap out of each other.
Oh, I've seen that too. Yeah, good times. If you guys want to see a fun treat, look up Greek priest taking Easter mass way too seriously. That's a good one.
Sounds like a porn intro, but all right.
No, it's fucking hilarious. They go hardcore, dude. Okay, the tomato stream needs some tomato. The stream needs some tomato critics. I would be in the ICU right now. So no, we don't need tomatoes. Ryan shouted me out saying I'm stereotyping. Yes, I am. Thank you, Ryan.
The Ukraine. Yeah, I don't. Ukraine, man. Who said the Ukraine?
The Ukraine.
That was you, James. You said that. You offended all Ukrainians.
I'm sorry.
Another question here, rather. Probably a common question, but I'm curious. Have you ever written an SCP? If so, which one? If not, do you ever think you will write one? Do you have any ideas? We actually haven't written any SCPs, or rather, I did write one when I was like, Okay, I'll start. I tried making one when I was 12. It was destroyed. And many of you, SCP fans who have tried making it will have, you'll share that with me, in that your article was ripped apart and destroyed. And I will add, it was rightfully so. It was a bad article. But, definitely a little discouraging. And, give it a good, 10 years later, took a crack at it again. I will say we have not explicitly written new SCPs. We've definitely looked into it and definitely want to do so. But the closest is that some of our videos, we've taken some liberties with stuff. I believe one, maybe two of the now vending videos are just completely ideas kind of off the top of our heads and not from the compiled kind of list of things that the vending machine has made.
There's
so that's there's so many, but that's about the closest we've come to a new one alone. But we're definitely looking to do.
Well, I will say our new video purge is probably the most original thing. It's not based off of a specific SCP. It's more of just we both kind of made like an overall plot and then just figured out ways to throw in our SCPs that we wanted to see in Easter eggs and fun little doodads. I do want to shout out Mystic was asking in our Eat Me videos, did the researchers forget they have hands? It's a good point. I think it's a good point.
It's a great point. What it comes down to is that these are men of science and they're willing to take this sacrifice. They're willing to take this leap of faith and see what's up. I'd also say shock. It's certainly an amount of shock.
It was so on a story writing side, shock. Although you could argue we overdid the shock, but on the technical side, having hands getting involved with the animations would have made things 10 times harder.
It would have made
it impossible,
essentially impossible within our range of graphical ability. We needed them to just sort of take it in the mouth like that.
Oh shit, Alessandro's here. Hey man, what's up? Alessandro. He DP'd actually and shot No Fury, so you guys should check that out. He did an awesome job with that.
Awesome.
The whole FF fam is piling in.
The gang's all here. Any end goals by doing your videos? Asked Omar Castro.
We don't have a hard
happiness,
deadline,
maybe,
but
not deadline. Like end goals.
I mean, I feel like our end goal is getting into bigger projects, like YouTube almost being partially a jumping off platform, but not like fuck bye. YouTube. I mean, it's a sad fact. YouTube makes it very difficult to make money and make a living off of it. Unless you're making a very specific type of content, very specific types of videos. So by doing what we do, we're essentially admitting we cannot really make a living off of this, not even remotely close to a living off of this. But what we do get is we do get wonderful fans like all of you, and we get to kind of put ourselves out there and show that, hey, we can make videos that are of good quality, dare I say. We can generate traction with it, we can show it off, and we can do it for a very little amount in terms of money compared to like most production. And that is something that, in my opinion, and like James shares this with me, it's something that's impressive from a studio perspective. So we definitely, I mean, you're hinting at it, Mystic, a Netflix sort of thing. It's definitely up the alley. These are companies that are more willing to kind of throw money at a project. Would it be SCP per se? Probably not. Well,
it wouldn't be. It could, but no one would ever do that because it doesn't make sense. You simply couldn't. It is not a good business idea to try to
make a Creative Commons
make a Creative Commons thing like it. It simply cannot be done. We can get into the legal jargon of it.
No company is going to pour millions of dollars into making a show if they don't have complete control and ownership of that thing.
Yeah.
So
like to put it very cleanly, if Netflix were to put out an SCP TV show, there's nothing that's stopping Hulu from taking that and re-uploading it on their platform, but then writing in the very beginning, credit to Netflix for creating this.
Yeah.
If they do that, they've given proper credit to Netflix, and therefore that's it. So no one's going to do that. They want to have intellectual rights to it. It's really just kind of what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're doing here is we're showing, SCP is there's such a huge variety of different genres and like topics in it that it really illustrates kind of our abilities as content creators, and hopefully that is something that would appeal and be realized by other
companies. I'd say the closest thing that would ever happen, and I don't know if we would necessarily do this, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone ends up doing this, is creating a original series that's heavily inspired by SCP. I think that's the closest you're ever going to get.
There's a lot that have taken hints from it, but have never gone full into it. So the best you get is maybe we'd have something that's inspired by it.
Exactly.
Who was to say?
Mr. Hippo just asked, Lord Bung collab when? Lord Bung's a very busy man, so even though we got to talk to him on our podcast, it is pretty hard to reach out and work with him. Plus, we're not doing anything animated, so I don't know, other than voice acting, I don't know what he'd be able to really collab with us on.
Yeah. How do you organize actors and filming locations? Asked Jigdraw. In terms of filming locations, it's really luck, and it's really just who we know. We can do scouting. Typically, what you'd have on when you're making these sort of videos, or making any videos or film for that matter, you would have people looking around for unique locations that fit the criteria that's necessary for the script and for the topic or whatever. And they go out there, they scout the location, then they discuss with the appropriate authorities, the appropriate administrators, owners of the property, what is required for us to be able to film here. And typically with that comes money, and we don't have these stacks of money. So it really comes down to people that we know, local businessmen, local businesses that are willing to open their store or on like an off hour, like so that we can film it. Family, friends, certain public locations that can be filmed, the short segments that don't require us to do these long kind of videos with a lot of setup. That's really what we've been banking on, and it's unfortunately what really does dictate our ability to make a video. And then in regards to acting, we use different casting networks, as well as just our circles of people that we know who are in film, and actor circles. So if we have one great actor, we'll ask them if they know other good actors, and odds are they do. And we just kind of look and we see which ones are what they want to do, and find actors that work best for it.
Yeah, I think the referral style type of casting has worked out the best, because
we definitely prefer it.
Online casting, most people are very flaky. Most people aren't reliable.
Most people are not like Kevin. Kevin we found online, and he's been just fantastic.
We got really lucky. Yeah, we got really lucky.
We got very lucky.
I'd say Mike too. Michael. He was the security guard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Michael, we
got lucky with.
Very good as well. Definitely. But it is more the exception rather than the rule.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many times we've had people flake out. It's like an expectation. We expect it at this point to happen.
Yeah.
Let's see. Alcoholist, I like this question. Have you ever gone abroad for filming and other YouTube related work? I've never, but that is the dream. I would definitely love to do that. We just don't have the connections or like the resources to do things abroad. Like ideally, if we had the budget, fly out like 2 people and then have our crew be in, I don't know, let's say Ukraine. The problem is, like, we don't have film friends in Ukraine. We don't have film friends in the Czech Republic or London. Like, it would be so cool if we had a London video, but I can't recreate London in New York City. Victorian London.
We have people that we know who are in that area, but when it comes to film, it's we would want crew who are on location.
Yeah.
Which takes a lot of planning ahead of time, and there's got to be some legitimate reasons that we would want kind of do that if there is a SCP that is specifically to that location, because again it comes down to like what is our ability to do it, what is required to do it. We can read through like a list of 1,000 SCPs, and we can take out maybe like 4 that will work based on like everything that lines up. It's really just who we know and who's willing to put their stuff out there and give us opportunities. If any of you as fans kind of present opportunities to us, if you're in the East Coast of America, kind of that area, it really opens up doors. If you know a location that's friendly to filming, it can help significantly.
That's a big deal.
It's enormous. It is enormous.
Yeah.
It could very well be the difference between making your favorite SCP and not. Just having the location to do it justice.
Mm-hmm. I'd say locations is the hardest part.
Yeah,
because that usually is what costs so much money, other than personnel, just people. Hippo did mention he likes to act and is in London, so who knows? Maybe in 4 years. Who knows?
Look, our Discord's open. Our Discord's open. Shoot us a message. I'll add a note to your name. Say London acting dude, and there we go. See what we can do from there.
You never know. Never know. Depends how well the channel does. Let's see what other questions we got.
We got some in Discord.
Yeah, let's do what's that. Let's check out Discord.
We got the classic. Let's see. This is a good one. By Pajowo. Were there ever any canceled video ideas?
Yes. Wendigo is like cursed. That video just was not happening.
That is a cursed video.
I feel bad because like we tried to revive it like 2 or 3 times and it just crashed and burned like every time.
It's unfortunate. There's so many factors. You've got, it was an outdoor video, which I mean that removes so much control from our part. We have to rely on the weather, which I'll tell you, every year it gets less and less reliable. But the weather itself was difficult to find it to be the right conditions for us to film. Arranging everyone's schedule, acting wise, there's more than a few people in it. Arranging it's always a difficulty, and with that one, especially so it seemed. There was it also was one of the higher expense videos.
Definitely was. Yeah. I still literally have a deer skull sitting in my room because of that video.
And I have about $300 worth of interesting props. It's
well, yeah, we'll be using those
and more. Well, we will be using.
Yeah.
It's that is unfortunately the first one.
Video,
yeah,
because it was a lot of scheduling issues, a lot of conflict, because we had a specific set of actors we wanted to use, but that plus the outdoor shit really fucked up.
It's still not impossible for us to be able to do it. It just it has to it's one of those things that when we see the stars align, we're gonna have to shoot for it and rush.
Yeah.
Which,
who knows? It could happen in the future. Definitely.
Yeah, nothing is off the table with the exception of maybe some unbelievably difficult SCPs that are like purely CGI and only CGI, and then at that point it's maybe not our cup of tea.
But who knows? It depends how well. So one thing I'm excited with Purge is we're working with basically a small VFX team. So if that really goes well, and we have a good time doing it, that could really open a lot of doors, CGI wise and monster wise, depending on how much our team learns and how much they're comfortable doing and all that stuff. So yeah. Just in the future, we're hoping, since the video probably won't come out for a while, we're hoping we'll be able to do some VFX behind the scenes streams. So let us know if that would that kind of stream would interest you. We'll have Nick and potentially Max, our 2 VFX guys, joining us, and we can basically just show you a little bit of the process behind the scenes. I think it'd be fun. Alright, let's see what else we got. Let's get some other questions. Cloud was just asking, what SCP are you doing for your short film? It's not.
Sorry, let me do this real quick, because times are rough. Give me your cookies. On YouTube says, if you call me daddy right now, I will donate $20 the next time I have $20. I'm taking a screenshot right now, so under the circumstances that you do decide to delete this and be a coward, everyone's gonna know that you're a coward. But how you doing, daddy?
All right, so we can't pull some. Only one of us did it. Hey, daddy. Hey, give me your cookies, daddy. Here we go.
Give me your cookies, daddy. There, good. You understand that the contract is sealed. You understand exactly what needs to be done. We're expecting $20 when you can. We're not rude. We're generous. All right.
How about this? Before the release of Purge, you got time. All right, at least
you got some time. That money will probably pay for a meal for one of the actors, and they will be greatly appreciative.
Ooh, this is a good one. So someone asked this earlier, and Hippo just asked, have you spoken to Clay Ablay, aka Mr. Clay, who did the SP96 film? Yes and yes. We're hoping to have him soon as our guest on the SP podcast. He's still kind of figuring things out because he lives in Pittsburgh, so things have gotten screwy with him too, with the COVID stuff and having to work at home, and he has a family that he's trying to spend time with after spending all of his free time basically working on SP96. But yeah, I've been talking to him. He definitely wants to be on our podcast, the SP podcast, link in description. Yeah, I think he did a really good job with Purge. I mean, not Purge, haha. SB96. Like you can tell he works as a professional VFX artist. The CG is just like, it's pretty legit. It's pretty insane considering one dude did all that CG.
Klob, just to let you know, so the short video with the short film, if we want to call it even short, at Purge that we were planning, it's a containment breach video. As such, it's going to have many different SCPs. There are some that are going to play a more central role to the plot and what's going on. We're not going to really hint at that. You might kind of glean it from different behind-the-scenes content that will be released as time goes on. But won't say exactly what the specific ones are, but know that there will be many different nods and cameos. There might very well be, dozens of SCPs in the video. Hope that answered your question.
Let's see. Let's check out more Discord stuff because we did miss a lot.
We did. I was just scanning through it, and we got a lot of the big ones.
Let's see. Collabs.
I'm looking to see if I have that.
Someone mentioned earlier, I don't remember who, but someone was asking about Forlorn Creature and if we're related.
I mentioned I did speak, and yep, I talked about that. Yeah.
Okay. So
but hey, another plug. Yeah, again, check out Forlorn Creature stuff. The stuff he does with Lego is fantastic, and there's a lot of cinematic value to it.
He also has been doing a lot of animation for Bung, and again, Forlorn Creature recently was saying that he actually might be free enough to join our podcast as well. So that's another fun little guest we might have in the coming weeks. So just a heads up. And then if you guys also know, I guess we're just talking about all the people we know. I'd say if there's an SP YouTuber, like we know him, the community's pretty small. And at some point, we've talked to pretty much every single SP YouTuber I can think of. Right? Like, I can't think of any other, like, active community.
More or less. Yeah, more or less we have.
Which is nice. That's, like, one thing I love about this community. It's not super isolated. It does feel like there's at least some sense of community. For sure. I wouldn't say everyone's, like, buddy chatting every night, but more of just there is communication and I'd say some appreciation with everyone's work.
I think we all respect each other's work, and at least luckily with the stuff that we do, we're not really, we're pretty unique in what we do. So we're not necessarily like encroaching on the territory of others, to put it that way. We're very happy with the people we've been able to talk to, and we always look forward to opportunities to collaborate and continue to grow these like relationships with other content creators.
Ooh, I like this question. Nathan just asked, what are your thoughts on r/I'm sorry, John? And
it's wonderful.
Like to make it. We haven't had any ideas to make anything soon, because I will say, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. There's an animator out there who makes a shit ton of like disturbing Garfield stuff. He's
like GameCube kind of inspired, like pixel kind of stuff,
like
right?
Pixel animation, yeah, him. I forget his name.
Excellent stuff.
He's done a lot of really cool stuff, and he has done some SCP stuff, which is how I found out about him. So if you guys know his name, shout him out. But yeah, I mean, like, we both love Lovecraftian horror, body horror. I mean, I love The Thing. That's like one of the best, at least, horror films from the 80s. I love Alien. All that stuff's kind of up my alley. I mean, we both. Did you show me Akira, or did I show you Akira? I think you showed me Akira.
I showed you Akira. Yeah, we watched Akira in my basement.
To give you like perspective.
On a kind of crappy copy. For some reason, the black coloration of the thing was messed up, and it would show up as blue. I remember the copy wasn't really the perfect one. I'm glad you didn't, because I did. No, I mean we love that shit. Also, while we're here, check out Hellraiser if you haven't already seen it. Don't watch past the second one. Hellraiser is one of those franchises that has been treated criminally wrong, in that there's so much potential that it had. It was such a it told almost I would say an Eldritch kind of story.
The channel we were talking about is Lumpy Touch. He made the
Lumpy Touch.
Yeah, the Garfield stuff. But anyway, you're saying.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, as I was saying with Hellraiser, it really tries to tackle these sexuality and sadism and like extreme physical sensation, and it didn't represent the quote unquote demons as like these evil things so much as like guides to help you explore this sort of different approach to things. It was criminally like the second one had so much potential to be funded and be huge, but the budget was cut, and even under those circumstances, Clive Barker did an excellent job. These are very good movies. The imagery will stick with you. Some of the graphics hold up exceptionally well. I would say check out the first one. What they were able to do with a relatively small budget is just absolutely top-notch filmmaking.
I actually like this question because I've been looking at this artist a lot. There is Trevor Henderson, which I'm sure everyone knows. And here, I'm going to throw this up. He makes these like spooky... oh, that's just Animal Crossing. But he makes these like very spooky, creepy, like found footage kind of monster situation. I don't know how to explain it that well, but you've definitely seen those like compilation videos of like...
It's a sort of it's like a creepy candid. It's more of like I captured this. It's like a cryptid thing, you know. It's almost like Bigfoot, where it's inserted into the picture in a very nice way that it almost looks like it's real. There's something very uncanny about it and very unsettling.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing.
Which is fun. I appreciate that. I personally follow a ton of like horror artists on Instagram. It really helps me a lot with like inspiration, and just like getting the creative juices flowing, getting like a mood, a vibe. And he's one of those people that I follow. So definitely check him out on Instagram if you guys don't. He posts way more art there than you would normally see. I do have toilet paper. I can't speak for Jake, but I have like 8 rolls. I think I'm gonna be okay.
I think it should be said, and I think all of you should, wake up and realize that toilet paper is not the best method for wiping your booty hole. I've been part of bidet gang for over 10 years, and I'm telling you, there's nothing that feels better than a cold jet of water blasting feces off your ass. And you use the toilet paper to dry. You go through probably a roll of toilet paper in like a week. It takes me sometimes like a month, 2 months to get through one roll, just because the function has changed. And guess what? I'm also not being a completely scummy person and depriving people who are in lower income neighborhoods from getting their resources because I felt the need to buy 50 packs of toilet paper.
You got your water stream. I will say it is a unique
experience. I'm being called out here. I didn't. I did not purchase that. That was my aunt who decided that it would be best for her to purchase 2 cases of Amazon store quality toilet paper.
Oh, I didn't even know that happened.
She did, and it's hers, and I think it's very crappy of her. But I'll tell you what, we will burn through it very slowly.
Oh, that's good.
And first 10 fans to show up to my door will get shot and then given a roll of toilet paper.
God damn it. After.
Yeah, to hopefully patch up the bleeding. Or not.
It's up to you. It's your choice.
It's really up to you. How quickly can you stuff that toilet paper in your gaping hole? We'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Where? Huh. Look into it, man. It's an ARG. Find out where I live. Or don't. Actually, don't. This is not a game you want to play. I'll tell you, there's only one outcome, and only one of us will be left.
Damn, Felicia's calling you out about TP. Yeah.
I know.
Let's see. We're probably gonna go for as long as you guys want to go. The stream.
It's really we can just sit here and shoot the shit for a pretty long amount of time. It's not like we have anywhere to be.
No.
But
we're in our houses.
We're just vibing here and having good conversations with the fans.
We do get that D&D tomorrow though. That'll be fun.
We do have D&D, man.
Let's see. I'm digging.
Terrible DM, by the way, with the D&D. Very unfortunate. Bad sections.
Yeah. No. Shout out to our DM who's in the chat right now, by the way. Let's see. Sorry, it's hard to read the chat and also talk.
Well, you're weak.
I don't have the.
We don't stream D&D. I haven't even considered that.
Yeah, I
but
thought about that, actually.
We'll bring it up with our DM and we'll see how uncomfortable that makes them.
Yeah.
Hey, Pyrocuck, glad to hear that you enjoyed the video. It's got a lot of views for some reason. We still haven't entirely found out why, but we have our theories.
It's just got that found footage, like spooky, eerie vibe. I think
It's that found footage sort of energy. Great acting, of course.
Well, why'd you guys click on it? I want to hear why'd you guys watch the painting?
Let's hear it.
What it like attracted you to it?
Pyrocuck, what made you click on our painting video?
Yeah, we want to hear from you specifically.
How is it going, my Foundry, says Gamer Gavin. Ha, a gamer.
Quarantine. For those who don't know, we're actually locked down in New York.
We are locked down. We're in New York. We're at pretty much the epicenter of it when it comes to the spread of COVID-19 in the United States of America, and we're doing our best.
Yeah.
I've already had to eat my dog.
No, not Tartarus.
He's gone.
That was fast. There's not a lot of meat on him now, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we had plenty of
5
food.
pounds.
He just wouldn't shut up.
Oh man. Hopefully I'll get a dog. I mean, probably not till after this quarantine shit happens. It's rough. Yeah, we were looking at some Trevor Henderson. Actually, if you guys want, I have a bunch of cool artists. We can look at some spooky art while we're asking questions.
Be careful you don't find some spooky boobies.
No, I'll try not to find spooky boobies, although they do exist.
You have a very good knack at trying to get us demonetized.
Yeah, it's my curse. Although that's not the right.
Nathan, make sure to DM me that, all right?
What would Nathan say?
Let's not don't talk about it on screen,
Okay.
all right? Let's just move forward.
I found the slide video after watching everything Jack Bright is not allowed to do, which I think is a Sumerian video, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
We're answering the favorite SCP question again. Mine's 2000. I like the Flesh That Hates as well. Where are you at with that,
Those are all
James?
good.
You like?
I mean, I
They're
like Red
classic.
Reality a lot, but I will say I think SP5000 is one of my recent favorites. I
Gonna
really
have
like
to
that
really
one.
read it. Yeah,
I really like that one.
a modern classic.
I have other
Flying
favorites.
golf cart. Are you
Oh, I
cute?
can't tell. Are you cute?
DM me. We'll find out. No, do not. I'm not soliciting that. I think you're adorable. Probably.
Join the Discord and you'll see our faces. Simple.
Join the Discord and you'll get our faces.
At some point you'll see our faces. If you really need to know.
They're literally emojis, so you're gonna see our faces.
Yeah, they're a little outdated, but you'll technically see our face.
It gets the job
You'll
done.
see 13-year-old me making a face at his communion, or
That's just
whatever it was.
you're still that look right now.
Yeah, I'm still a look. Easy.
What happened to the SCP podcast? It's a good question. Same thing that happened to our channel. We are going back to it. It's definitely a lot easier content to make now, and again, lots of free time. So
Yeah.
we're hoping that we're gonna get Mr. Clay, we're gonna get Forlorn Creature, and we'll hopefully get
Should be
all
coming
sorts of
soon.
people.
According to them, they'll be free soonish in a week or two.
Yeah.
So
So expect that to be coming out soon. We're gonna hop back on the gaming wagon. We do have a gaming channel because everyone does.
I will say,
Let's hear it.
I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. The guy who does
Nice, dude.
FAM radio, he is also game. He also lives in New York, by the way.
Toad King.
But Toad King, yeah, he is down, and we might also have him on as a guest. So there's a bunch of people that will be coming on the SP podcast.
There's a lot of prospects for some good conversations. You get to hear our silky smooth voices a little bit more in these trying times.
And you don't get to hear just us talking. You'll get to hear behind the minds of other SP creators. Let's see. What is the scariest SCP?
Scariest.
Let's see. I think if you just go by look, was it 2371? I remember the number. It's the spider robot one. That one actually spooks the poopy out of me.
Really?
I don't know. I find it extremely unsettling. Let me see if I can find him. I'm just typing SCP spider robot. It's in one of Bung's videos, but I've seen him before that. Yeah, this boyo. This boyo really spooked the pajibus out of me. I think he's just very eerie looking. There's something unsettling.
I'm a big fan of SCP-2852 in terms of just a very creepy and off-putting sort of thing. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the creepiest one, but it's definitely, for me, it's very off-putting.
Oh, that one is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is just read it. Do enjoy that yourself. SCP-2852.
This one is a good one. It was definitely
That's
something
right.
we'd like to do.
It's definitely something that's also in the scope of what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
other than locations, but this is the one that involves the church. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It involves multiple things.
Yeah.
Church, to say the least.
What else? Let me see.
Pedro mentions, have you guys heard of Containment Breach Run, the official SCP Containment Breach movie?
Yeah,
that
I've
released?
actually talked to the director of that. So yeah, I definitely know it. He actually works as I guess fun fact, he works as a video game trailer director right now. That's like how he makes a living, which is also kind of probably why it's not official.
He definitely explains stuff to an extent.
Probably
Trailers are
explains
very
why
fun and enthusiastic. Like,
hasn't
it seems that
been
with
done
fan
yet.
bases, with fan bases, trailers are one of the first things you can make, and it gets people excited, and that's really all you need to do for a lot of people. But actually going forward and creating the content, definitely a little bit more tricky than just making a trailer.
He's definitely a busy guy, so who knows.
Yeah,
it was supposed to come out last year, I think, actually. But
it's not to be a detriment to his abilities or anything along those lines, but it is very difficult to create something that ambitious.
yeah, it seems like he's doing fine though, so I feel like there's no pressure for him.
Yeah,
to get that out makes sense.
which realistically, there isn't any pressure. It's all just kind of what you promise and what you put on yourself.
20. So Hippo was asking if we've seen 2747, and again, I'm horrible with numbers, so let me just look this up to know if I actually did. I have not read every SCP, in case people are wondering.
Yeah, we have not read them all, unfortunately.
No, I actually haven't. 2747, right? It's like a Radiohead cover of Radiohead or something. I'm not like reading it. For those that are wondering what I'm looking at. No, I have not read that actually. What do you think about an SP VR game? Me and Jake, Omar asked that. Me and Jake both own VR, so 100% down with that. We were at some point talking to
Blackout.
Blackout. I did get a demo of it, but the demo was like beta. It was very beta, so it wasn't really working, and it was kind of crashing my system. But I think he has a more alpha version now that actually I think works. I would definitely be down to stream it at some point when he actually makes the official thing.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure if I haven't heard from him in a while. So if you guys know anything about SV Blackout, let us know. I mean, I literally have it on my PC downloaded, but again, that beta it had some issues, which is understandable.
It's been out of it for a while, beta wise, but yeah, no, he did pretty well with it.
I will say I scare easy. Are you guys ever gonna do Peanut? I mean, technically we have done Peanut.
Technically we have.
If you just type in SP173 featuring Dado, you'll see that one on our channel. I'll throw it up for y'all, just so you know.
Please don't throw up.
Yeah. Let's see. Throw it up for the boys.
I will chunk on camera right now for $20.
You're not even on camera.
No, I take it back. $200 right now. I'll turn on the camera and then I will throw up for $200.
All right, here he is, boys. That's our 173 video. So yes, technically we have done it. Will he come up in a future video? Potentially.
Nathan, we had already spoken a little bit earlier about where our name came from. Essentially, what it came down to is we wanted something that was a striking name, easy to say, fairly easy to remember, and sets the tone for the channel, but doesn't explicitly tie it to. We just sat down and just were bouncing words against each other until something stuck.
Oh, there is a film online. Yes. So okay. So Ali Hunter talks about there's a film online about SP49. So I looked into that a little bit. I've never actually talked directly to these people. I think they were in the chat, but all I know is, from what I could tell, none of them are experienced filmmakers. I think it's more of like kind of an amateur fan film kind of thing. And they seemed a little disorganized. I'm not here to talk bad. It's just kind of, I don't know if that's actually happening. It doesn't look like it's really going to happen, at least for a while, from the way things were going with it. But I know we have a pretty open open door policy. If people ever want to collab or work with us, we're definitely open to that. Basically, at the point when they put it on IMDb, they were just like a partially finished script, which is like the easiest part of production. So that's why like we're usually hesitant to say a project is probably going to happen if it's not even in production. I have read The Yule Man. If I'm thinking correctly, that's the one of that old dude who comes in to families in like rural areas and basically tortures and kills that entire family, and then will take a child if they're under the age of 8, and then basically it's assumed that he makes like toys out of the children's body parts and then gives it to other children.
Very kind.
Yeah, it's definitely.
We need good people like that.
Yeah, I think Chloe. Yeah, I think that is the one I got. It's definitely creepy. I feel like film-wise, it would be almost kind of gore porn at that level. The level they describe certain things at. That one is mentioned in SCP-5000, so that's why I did read that one recently. It gives me Hannibal vibes, honestly. It's like that level of gore.
Two things I want to tackle real quickly. Firstly, Pyrocock says, what's your favorite non-SCP Eldritch creature? For me, I would say, based on the new, I guess Half-Life Alyx came out. So in going with that, I would say my favorite Eldritch creature at the moment is probably the G-Man. Because he's definitely not a man, and he's probably not even a G. How about you, James?
Okay, so I've been playing Bloodborne again recently. I don't know if it's the favorite, but I really like Ebriitis. She's one of the what are they called again? Fuck, I'm forgetting. They're one of the aliens in Bloodborne, but I also really love.
No spoilers, aliens, man.
In the Nightmare of Mensis, there is this brain creature that you have to find. It's like a hidden kind of Easter egg. But that I think is one of like the most disturbing creatures at least in a video game that I've like ever interacted with. Berserk has a lot of really awesome creatures though.
Oh yeah, for certain.
And Gaunt's
I wouldn't say Eldritch per se, but definitely disturbing.
Well, I guess it's more it's more like what's it called? It's more like a Clyde Barker kind of vibe.
No, Clyde Barker does get Eldritch.
Well, I mean like the whole.
It is 100% inspired by the Cenobite.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, like definitely.
No, there's no doubt about that. Yeah. It is entirely the inspiration for the God Hand is, Cenobites.
It's like dead on, yeah. There's no
unashamedly, and it makes sense that came out in the 80s. It was very, it was on his mind.
Man, I'm sure there were other Eldritch creatures that I love. I'm really bad with pulling things off the top of my head. But that's the thing that comes to mind, at least, is the brain creature in Bloodborne. But you know what? I will pull up a picture for those that aren't familiar. It's a gross one. Let's see. Bloodborne. There we go. And he's literally like in an abyss. Yeah, and you can never really see his face completely. Oh, he actually looks different than what I remember. Oh, the brain of Mensis. This is what it is. Alright. You guys ready? I hope you don't mind this kind of stuff. This is one of my favorite Eldritch creatures in Bloodborne. And when you find him, it's just like this like darkly lit cavern. And he's just this mammoth of a creature.
He looks very friendly.
Yeah. He actually doesn't hurt you. He's just kind of immobile. But
yeah, he's pretty cool.
What will we do in this live stream? We're just answering questions, but we will have other live streams in the future. Like I was mentioning earlier, we were hoping to have some like kind of BTS hangout / VFX live streams. Just us hanging out while we do actual work on our videos, CGI stuff. Animation. Let's see. We definitely had so many more questions. Oh no, Felicia was saying the one I drew. The one you drew is the oh my god, something beast. It's the first boss in Bloodborne, and I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. This is actually killing me. Oh no,
So
no,
James,
she drew Amygdala, which is also a really good one.
Why does it say one of your bookmarks right there? Become a millionaire. What's that about?
I actually don't know. These are really old.
Yeah.
These are really
Egyptian crocodiles. Very interesting.
That was
How to become Egyptian crocodiles? How to become a millionaire?
Some sacrifice. I mean, have you seen a Firelit Room? I haven't played that in a long time. That's like a
That's
game.
a classic little thing to play. Time killer, as they say.
New York News music map. These are so old. I haven't clicked on like any of these, other than Reddit. Like these three are common. But
Now is not the time to explore your bookmark.
I'm not. Don't worry. I'm just like I find it interesting. I forget that like
You're
that's
just
even
explaining that's on full blast right now. The world knows that you were looking up Egyptian crocodiles for some sick reason.
It was actually a gift idea, I think.
An Egyptian crocodile is a terrible gift.
Well, no, if it's not an actual, they're like jade or something. They're made of some like stone, some blue stone, not jade. Let's see. Hit me with your questions, guys. I mean, just a reminder, if you guys want to call in, we were doing call-ins earlier. For some reason, we didn't get anything recently.
Yeah, not many. Just gotta keep reminding them.
But if you want to call in, we will just join our Discord, and we have a voice chat that you can join. I'm gonna pull this over. We have a voice chat you can join, and then we'll queue, and you can join us, talk to us one-on-one, hang out with us for a bit. Yeah, we don't bite. It'll be fun. We had like 3 or 4 people on already. Around that many.
Yeah, we've had a few solid ones.
Let's see. Have you guys played or know about the SP Unity game? Yes, Oh, Powercook's popping in. We'll get to you in a second, but just Pedro was asking, have you played or know about the SP Unity game? I know about the SP Unity game. I downloaded it recently. I haven't played it because I'm still waiting for their new update, which is coming out
You're
very
still
soon.
a baby. That's what you are.
Yeah, but I will say we are potentially collaborating with them in the future with that team. So look forward to that, I guess.
Yeah. And let me drag on Pyrocuck in here. Let's hear what this man has to say. Let's answer his questions. Hello.
Jesus Christ, I can hear 2 of you now.
There are both of us.
That was, no, like on the stream, and yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
it was loud. I did not expect that.
We are doubled up.
Yeah. What's up? Just got like 3 questions.
Let's hear them.
Who's your favorite horror artist? What's your favorite type of horror?
That's a hard one.
Just like, subgenre. And if you had to pick like your top 5 least favorite SCPs between the 2 of you, who would they be? Or what would they be?
Oh, least favorite.
You're out here with the fucking tough question.
So horror artist is hard because I follow so many artists on Instagram. I'm trying to boil it down. Okay, so there's one I really like. I don't know if he's necessarily a horror artist, but his name is Enric Sant. He's an artist from Barcelona. I'm gonna pull some of the stuff. He has a very surrealist kind of vibe, which I'll pull up. But Jake, if you want to pull up if you have a fave. Although a lot of stuff is pretty disturbing.
I would say I'm gonna go with the weeb answer, and Junji Ito. His art is, for me, consistently off-putting, consistently uncomfortable. I really don't like looking at his stuff, but I do, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, man, Junji Ito is awesome.
His ability to just kind of like he throws so much at the wall, so many different kind of topics. It's fantastic.
And then we were saying like least favorite SCPs.
That's.
I mean, I really don't care for 682. I think it's a very boring.
I mean, hate to say it, yeah, no, 682. There's not much to it. In terms of least favorite, I mean, I don't think I can give things that we necessarily strongly dislike, but I'd say that there's things that are popular that we aren't necessarily as completely adoring of, right? A lot of the classics they were very, very important and fundamental in getting the show started, so to speak, right?
Yeah, Peanut
but
was
once
my first SCP.
it was.
Yeah, it was for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean these are things. These are like the gateway drugs to SCP. They get you in. You're reading all these really huge ones eventually, and then you look back at them and you say these are so simple. But that's really just that's first generation SCP. The first 1,000 or so, you have a lot of good, but a lot of very like we're setting the tone for what's going to be a pretty amazing fandom.
Also,
And
I just want to
that's
shout
I mean yeah.
Mike Francina, amazing horror artist. He basically does a lot of like weird Bloodborne style body horror mixed with like World War One. It's a really really
this is
cool
fantastic.
stuff. I am not going to go through all of his art because there is a lot
Send
of
me a link to this.
He does have a lot of scary boobies. I will send you a link.
Oh, we hate him. We hate him.
So it's not stream friendly.
It's like you're trying to get yourself kicked off YouTube.
James just naturally
I have a
kind
knack.
of fucks up like this. He's just some sort of
He does
violent
some
creature.
He does some really cool shit.
I there was another question that was you asked 3. What was your second one? First one was what your favorite horror artist. Your third one was your
Like
least favorite SCPs. What was your second question again?
What's your favorite subgenre of horror?
Subgenre of horror. Good.
That's a hard one.
Good. There. I mean, I feel like all of them have their place and all of them have their mood. If
Well,
I
can
want
say
to
what I
start
don't
thinking,
like.
let's hear it.
There are exceptions, but I usually do not like slasher horror. I find it very boring. And just
Okay, no, yeah, okay, I do agree with that.
I'm not a fan of Saw, things like that, which is what people usually think of with horror, which is a little frustrating. Because when I say I like
it's
horror,
just
it's like,
yeah.
nah, I don't like that horror.
Horror
more
is
niche.
horror is in everything, and horror can be everything. So you have like people you look at the most popular stuff. You look at Saw, you look at these slashers, and you think, oh, this is horror, but it's not. These are spectacle movies that are very fun to watch and enjoyable. There's no shame in that. They're enjoyable, but they don't go too much further in terms of cinema. Maybe they have individual contributions to the world of visual effects, to horror makeup, things that are very impressive. But beyond that, we don't necessarily always see a huge kind of progression in terms of like cinematic value.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
One thing I really like with Ito, Lovecraft, and a bunch of others, there's a specific term for it, but it's basically this like horror where it's like this sense that you're just this small little speck in the universe. Like you have no control of your fate.
That would be cosmic horror. That would be a cosmic horror.
Cosmic horror in general.
Correct. Cosmic horror is nice.
Body horror, like The Thing, is the most famous, I think, body horror thing that ever was released. I love that stuff.
The Thing is fantastic. Cronenberg consistently also puts out some good stuff.
Just like, I guess, I've noticed for me, themes of like loss of control, loss of identity, those are the kind of stuff, for some reason, in horror that I'm drawn to.
Alright, sick.
And just like mystery kind of stuff.
Sick. Alright,
Yeah.
well, thanks for answering my questions.
Yeah, dude, great talking to
Thanks for
you.
hopping in, man.
See ya.
Peace.
Adios.
Alright, and then I think we had another person mentioning they were gonna pop in. But I don't know if they're still there. Let me see.
There
I haven't
is
looked at chat at all. So-
Bajowo, who is going to possibly hop in for another one. Felicia comments, loss of control and loss of self. And that's trauma.
And that's on trauma.
I
think it's related to like identity. Like I was a bit of a wallflower growing up, so that'd be part of it. Kind of socially isolated.
Yeah. The feeling of that sort of horror, that sort of putting you into the scale of things can be both really like, it can be awesome, like in terms of like awe, like actual producing awe, awesome in that way, but also terrifying.
Mhm.
And that's a very fun sensation, a fun kind of little mental thing to chew on.
I mean, I just like the concept of like separating yourself from your ego. Like, is your ego your actual identity? All that stuff.
Let's get Pajowo in here again for another question.
Amygdala is from Bloodborne, by the way, but amygdala is also a part of the brain that regulates like fear and things like that.
All right, I'm gonna bring him in.
Yep.
Hello again.
Hey, hello again.
Welcome back.
What's up?
Thank you. So I had a question, which is more about SCP than you guys do, but I think it still applies a bit with what you guys do. It's how do you think the SCP, lore stuff is going to influence the future of Oh, as we're already seeing it now, if you think about it, with that game control.
I mean, I've definitely seen SCP influences.
Yeah, we're already seeing influence of SCP in a lot of media. You have people who, this is a fandom that's been around for quite a while now.
Like 10 years.
I'd say we're almost 10 years now. And that, you have a lot of people who see this when they're younger. They keep in touch with it and they move forward with it and bring their influences and their inspiration to other things. And that's really what SCP does. It's great people with science, great.
Oh, you're breaking up a little. Just warn you.
Yeah, just a little crappy. It's just good fuel for your mind. Really engaging stuff that you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna take over just because you're breaking up a lot. But some examples I've seen recently, the new Godzilla film. If you look into the art book, you'll see in the art book 682 is in the art book. So it shows you even in Hollywood, SCP has definitely made an impression with certain artists, certain readers. The guy who made Chronicle, who wrote Chronicle, he wrote an SCP article.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
There are some famous people. There are more famous people that have written SCP articles. We obviously don't know all of them, but I think it's not. The community's definitely not the biggest for SCP, but it's definitely
influential.
Let's just say I've noticed a lot of SCP writers are just big nerds, and they will write and read the most obscure shit, including SCP stuff. So it's not as unknown as we really think, which is cool to think about. I mean, that was really. I grew up with Godzilla. That was my childhood. One of my big childhood things growing up. So it kind of blew my mind. I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
they definitely know about SCP and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I don't know for sure, but I also think Night in the Woods is not Night.
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely
does. Yeah, you're clear now, by the way.
Yeah. Because I'm seeing a lot of artists and stuff take inspiration from SCP and also straight up draw them. I call it urban horror because a lot of times you see weird elvish creatures in normal environments. That's maybe you guys don't see it, but that's how I mainly see SCP. The face, to sell it.
I mean, what attracted me personally was the mystery, almost feeling like I was uncovering a conspiracy.
Yeah.
And I think I was pretty young when I found. I think I was in 10th grade. I was 14 when I found SCP, but and there I did know it was fake, but just the feeling that it felt real, the feeling that there's this weird hidden world beneath us that who knows how much it's actually affected and controlled our lives. That what really drew me to SCP, which is why I think we've been kind of leaning towards a more found footage-y approach to things, making it feel a bit more mysterious at least than just shooting it like an actual professional movie, because I feel like you don't really get that mystique and mystery shooting it like a Hollywood film. Yeah,
that's true. That's the biggest draw to me is it's so believable, it's not just it's a story, it's an article,
Definitely, yeah. I mean, at least I would say some SCPs feel a bit silly, and I do like humor too, but I think the ones that attract me the most are definitely the most mysterious feeling kind of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
looks like we have another person queued up for the voice chat.
We do.
Before I go, I want to...
Yeah, sure.
Sorry if I sound a bit weird because it's my accent, so...
No, don't worry, dude.
No, you're perfectly fine, dude.
I have a bunch of friends from around the world, so...
Yeah, okay, that was good. I'm a bit insecure about my accent,
You have an accent, but every single word you said I've been able to understand perfectly.
And
that's great. That's great. Okay,
neither of us speak fluently another language, and you do, so...
You've got at least twice as many IQ points you have.
Well, I'm maybe trilingual, but I'm not
Damn.
sure.
Now you have 3 times the IQ point that we have.
No, it's because German sounds like Dutch, and it's 50% of the words are the same. But that's an old game. I'm getting off track.
Yep, it's all good.
No sweat, man. Thanks for
Yeah,
calling in
okay.
again.
Maybe I'll be back later, but I'll be in the chat.
Alrighty,
Keep
man.
asking away, man. Thanks.
Okay.
So if I'm correct, the next person coming in is our boy Alessandro.
Oh, that's Ghost in here?
Yeah.
Or... Okay.
Unless there's another ghost, but that should
I-
be ghost.
Let's hear it. Yo!
Yeah, what's happening?
How you guys doing?
All right, it's Alessandro. Cool. I just wanted
You're,
to
that definitely...
speak up my ass.
Is my microphone alright? I'm not destroying anybody's ears right now.
No, I think you're good. There's a little like, staticky.
It's definitely hurting me, but I already adjusted it. We're good.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'll raise you up a little bit. All right, what's
All
happening?
right.
Man? What are you up to?
So, well, first things first, family's safe, everyone's alright.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Everyone's okay.
Perfect.
Same.
Definitely. I have one family member who's still in and out of the house working, which is, we don't like it, but she can't be stopped, and I guess we're doomed if she ever gets it. So, I try to stay away from her, keep my 6 feet distance.
Yeah, just maintain that
Well,
distance. Yeah.
you know the deal, 3M face masks and rubber gloves. So.
I mean, you own a couple of gas masks, Jake.
I do, but I'm not wearing a gas mask, James. That's not. We're not at that point, man.
We're ready if we need to.
Yeah. So I actually had 2 questions for you, and I could imagine that you could probably guess, considering the work we've done together, what they'll be corresponding to. So I guess I'll get right into it then. So, considering that pretty much what you guys do is translate SCP to a visual medium, right? At least the part that, I've played in it so far. So I wanted to find out, are there any films or television series or, directors, whoever, that, you take some inspiration from in the work that you do?
I mean, definitely. Ironically, a lot of my visual inspiration lately has been coming from artists and less of filmmakers. I'm trying to think of. I'm so bad with thinking off the top of my head. A lot
Any artist game.
Huh?
Any artist game. So if it's artists, I think that's
I mean,
just as fair.
At least for SCP, obviously Cabin in the Woods was one of the first big things that my mind goes to. But I will say Cabin in the Woods is pretty too lighthearted in a sense for what I normally think of for SCP. It's a bit more jokey and a little campy, which is not how I really view SCP.
It's keeping similar themes, but being able to present it in such a way that you and the family can go watch it in the theater and still have a good time.
Yeah.
You could turn the box office.
And I still love that movie, definitely.
Yeah, it's still a great movie, definitely.
Man, my big inspiration. I mean, like Bloodborne. That's a game. Like, I feel like just like I've been really paying attention to like tone and vibe and like what really creates an atmosphere. There was a film I saw recently, a short film that I'm forgetting the name, but it was about like an Ouroboros cycle, like a time loop, and it was on that Netflix series. Was it Robots, Death, and like Sex or something?
Very cool,
Love,
James.
Love, Death, and
Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah.
Robots, Death, and Sex.
Close. But it was a bit hit and miss, that series, but there were a couple shorts in there that were like, that really got me.
I've always enjoyed those kind of anthology series, and there's a few anime like movie anthologies that came out back in like 80s and 90s they have some really striking visuals. I have to check it up again, but there's some that have even like the fellow who made Akira.
Yeah, Akira's a big inspiration.
He is in like one of his things in this compilation. It really just interesting stuff. When you have these different like kind of separate but independently unique ideas being thrown to the wall.
Definitely one of my favorites, but I think also one of Jake's favorite directors is Toshi Kon. He did Perfect Blue. He did Paprika.
Oh, yeah.
He's a really, really good director. I mean, like Perfect Blue is, he's a paranoia agent too, but he's done a couple like horror thriller kind of things. And Perfect Blue, I guess for people who don't know it, it's basically about this Japanese pop star who ends up deciding to move to an acting career, and she basically has these obsessed fans that are not happy with this decision, and she ends up getting a stalker who basically starts like trying to control her life and threaten her, and just, I don't want to spoil anything, but
there's nothing more to say, but it is fantastic.
Definitely worth a watch. I think he does tension really, really well. It's not a perfect film, but that's a highly recommend for like I guess that it is a slasher film, kind of, not really. That is a bit more approachable than other types of horror I like.
I can definitely see that. I am actually familiar with that. It's an animated film, right?
Yeah. I think it's from the 90s.
No, I've seen it before. Very interesting. So I could definitely see your inspiration on that.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I haven't watched it in a while, but I would definitely watch that again. Paprika is my favorite film from his. It's very it's like Inception, but better, to put it bluntly. It has to do with like people going into other people's dreams and how dreams start affecting reality. So I won't say more on that one, but that one's a cool one. I mean, we're talking about Hellraiser 2. I think Hellraiser definitely is always in the back of my mind too.
Like more so the first Hellraiser or the I guess sequel and prequels?
Nah, I've only seen the OG. Jake's seen.
We need to watch both of them together because the second one I think I described to you, it has so much potential to it, but it was just kind of snubbed because the studio pulled, like they told him go as ambitious as you want, you have all the money you want, and then they said, oh, by the way, we're going bankrupt. So a little unfortunate, but he tried his best with what he was given, and I think he still does very well. But the first one is good.
Yeah, reality kicks in like that, doesn't it?
It does, and then just ignore that there was any after the second. There definitely wasn't 9 more. Don't even consider that.
Oh, Alien. Alien's a big one.
Alien is a classic.
That's a classic.
Yeah. It's one of the few franchises that can survive and even do potentially better with the second, even though it was a very big change in like what the series was about. The second Aliens is fantastic as its own movie as well.
And I really like Blade Runner 2049. I think that was one of the best sci-fi films to come out recently.
Blade Runner has an excellent mood to it.
Yeah, for sure. So, if you don't mind, I don't want to take up somebody else's time, but if possible, could I follow up with a final question?
Yeah,
you're all good, man. Yeah.
Great. So, I know that this is, hopefully in the near future, but whatever future it may be, it is a question that I think is important. So, whether you guys would get picked up by, say, Netflix or Amazon, or just going by your own volition, how would you see going about, I guess, your episodic series? Would you kind of go with, for example, would you go like a Mirror, or something along the lines of what The Walking Dead does, where there's a storyline? How would you guys see going about that?
So you cut out for a little bit, but you're saying if we did an original series or like an SCP inspired in series?
I'm not really too sure. I mean, I guess just a series in general. I know for Black Mirror, they occasionally will take on the short film projects that directors or producers or writers will present to them. Whereas with Walking Dead, it's a narrative that continues each episode. So I don't know. Would you guys kind of take it on like what's the name of that animated series for SCP? Forgot the name of it. But that's a narrative. That is a narrative. So what's that?
One thing I've been really interested lately is, and it's becoming a lot more cost effective, is, and again that short from almost all the shorts from Sex Robots. I keep saying sex. Why do I keep saying sex? Robots,
all those shorts from Fuck, Murder, and Automaton.
they were all 3D animated, and like 3D animations come to a point that like stylistically you can do some really impressive things with it. So like the idea of doing like a 3D animated short film kind of anthology series, that is definitely something I've been thinking about lately. I do have 2 feature ideas, but they're definitely not TV related, that are both 2 very different types of sci-fi. Oh, we just lost Jake. And then what else?
Oops.
I mean, I definitely love the idea of doing like a heavily inspired SCP Netflix sort of series, because realistically that's the closest we're ever going to get to an actual SCP series straight up. And it wouldn't be a hard pitch considering there's millions of fans that are just been begging for an SCP related thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then we haven't talked about this, but me and Jake do have a comedy series idea that's more kind of Adult Swim-esque. So we definitely have like original ideas and that SCP inspired idea, if we were to ever get picked up. So it just depends. Like The comedy idea is more like a sitcom kind of style, and kind of teasing that whole thing. And then the SCP thing, I feel like would be a bit more anthological, because I feel like I like what I like about the SCP Foundation is just exploring these new situations and like feeling like it's like this grand scope of things. I feel like if it was just a normal narrative form, the Foundation could end up feeling really tiny really quickly. And then there are 2 different web series I watched that I also really want to adapt. So who knows? There's a lot of options out there. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, Jake, James, thank you so much for entertaining my questions.
Yeah, dude, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Likewise. I'll be making my way out, so stay safe and have a great podcast or stream or whatever you'd like to call it.
All right. Thanks, man. Stay safe.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right. Ooh, memories. Oh my God. So Jake just brought this up in a DM. Memories. Definitely check that out. This has been on my list that I've been really wanting to watch, and I'm gonna swipe this.
Definitely check it out. There's pretty much one standout short from that. That is.
Yes.
It is. I mean, what can I say? It is perfect. The only complaint I've ever heard about this short, and I share this complaint, is that the characters are too likable to the point where you're so fucking pissed off that it ends. It's just very well done. It's a good problem. It's a good problem. It's when people get angry at us for not putting out it. It means that you like our videos. So, thank you.
There's a Siren Head movie. I did not know about that.
Not sure.
Again, if it's just a trailer, we can't help just feel skeptical, because it's so much easier just to put up a trailer and saying, "Hey, we're doing a thing."
Trailers are always nice and fun, but they're not always indicative of an actual production underway.
Epic Gamer is asking, when the quarantine is over, will you do more SCP shorts? I mean, we're literally working on SCP short while in quarantine, so yes and yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna probably wrap up soon, but if you guys have any last minute questions, now's the time to put them out there. So give you all a sec. Man, 2 hours just like flew by.
What are your thoughts on a mockumentary style SCP series? I think James, kind of hinted towards this a bit when we were discussing Cabin in the Woods, but we definitely do enjoy lighthearted things, but with SCP, to keep it like kind of accurate and good with the theme, I think like a mockumentary would end up being a little too lighthearted. I mean, there is potentially an angle there to have something that is unique and is portraying it as like a serious thing, but I can't help but feel that sort of genre, that take on it, has recently been. It ends up being comical, like naturally. You sort of. It reminds me of what we do in the dark. Is it?
Yes. Which is great.
Where it's like it's amazing, but the style almost befits a way of kind of pointing fun or like really just dressing down something. So to do that to the SCP universe, it hasn't really been given the opportunity to get its full representation on.
It could be done. I feel like, but
it could be.
Like
of course,
there's other stuff we want to work on. We feel like we could be more.
Yeah, exactly. There's just a tone that is typically associated with it. But I think definitely with the right script treatment just in general, it could probably come out to be pretty nice.
And then so Arutherus Day asked, what's your opinion on SCP-1 when day breaks? I've actually never read the full thing because there's like so many alternate versions of SCP-001. I've never like sat down and figured out which ones I should read and which ones I shouldn't bother with. So that's kind of the only reason why I haven't read it yet. Although I know certain things about like people dying when the sun hits them or some stuff, and it being like a whole big apocalypse thing. Gaming streams. Omar, if you want to see the gaming streams, we have our alternate channel, FF Boys. We'll probably, like Jake got Alex.
I've got Alex. I played it. I beat it, so I could probably hop back and have fun. I also could definitely stream some Doom.
Yeah. So I don't have any new games, but I've been playing I can't even stream Bloodborne, so I'm useless right now. But
Send me a capture card and I'll stream you some amazing, intense Animal Crossing action.
True. Yeah, he's been playing a lot of Animal Crossing.
I do be fishing.
But yeah, it's in the description. FF Boys, if any of us want to have more casual streams. We'll definitely be streaming probably more often. We should. There's no reason we shouldn't be. And Felicia was also pointing out Final Fantasy.
No, FF does not represent Final
No,
Fantasy.
I'm actually
It
not a big
represents
Final
Forlorn
Fantasy fan.
Foundry.
Sorry,
I've
guys.
never played a Final Fantasy game. I'm sure that they're
I've played a
delightful.
couple. They're okay. I don't like the turn-based system. I know it's not a popular opinion. It's also why I'm not a huge fan of Pokemon, which I should not be saying. People are gonna gore me for that, but oh well.
I think that let's see. And I think we'll take the final question here by Sir Pancakes. What are your thoughts on some of SCP-173's redesigns, and what are your favorites?
Ooh. Okay, you start first. I mean, we kind of have the same opinion.
James and I both kind of shared what our favorite. But the redesigns are necessary. They're a necessary evil, if you want to call it that. But I think it's an opportunity to take a look at a well-known kind of thing and give it a new treatment, give it something new. It comes down to copyright. To make everything a little bit easier in the SCP universe, if you have things that are not copyrighted, it's so much easier to do work with it. Whereas, whenever people wanted to use Peanut, you'd have to go to the original artist, who was very confused consistently and not really sure how he felt about the specific interpretation of his statue. To my knowledge, the original interpretation of the statue was meant to be sort of nature spirit. It was not intended to be
very wholesome
this
image.
this killer concrete machine that just breaks your neck. He snaps your neck.
And I personally, I think we both, I can say we both, really like the Affray concept art for 173. It's got like a very, I guess, kind of modern art kind of vibe.
It's abstract, but the function of it is the same. I mean, there's a T-pose in there, which you gotta respect it. But there's definitely there's something unsettling about it. They were able to preserve certain features that you could very easily tell that it is inspired by it. You got very similar paint on it, but it's nice. You get to see even that rebar. You get to see the nature of it as an imperfect sort of thing, an anomaly.
Yeah. I will say, I think that's the most divisive question you could ask, though, because I feel like there's a very split opinion between the SP Unity version and the Affray version, which I find interesting.
Yeah, people very much are heated over it, but it's a necessary evil because we simply cannot use the copyrighted art. It's like if we made the Mona Lisa an SCP, or just whatever. There's specific. You have to take these compromises, and you look at it as an opportunity to do something new. It's divisive, but that's what it really comes down to.
And for people who are interested, this is what the Unity, this is kind of a shitty picture, but this is what the Unity one looks like. I'm gonna try to find a better picture. But it's got this like weird three-legged arching back pose. It's definitely interesting.
It's interesting. It's very similar to the other one. But again, I mean, I think they're wonderful. I think both of them are fantastic.
Yeah, they're definitely.
The original is the classic, but there's almost like a comical nature.
The perks.
So you kind of cut that out.
I mean, you're just gonna get people pissed off if you're trying to redesign something so iconic. It is literally the most iconic SCP on the entire website.
Mm-hmm. That's why it comes down to necessity evil. If you want to call it that way, you still have very talented people who are working to try to make it better. And these are people that they don't deserve hatred for what they're doing. They're trying to make it easier for everyone to enjoy SCP without worrying about repercussions or without worrying about any of this. Really, to be honest.
Yep.
So they're doing a really good thing, and we should all appreciate their dedication to the community and trying to allow something to continue. This applies to the old man who got his own kind of redo.
Yeah,
there's a few videos that have been cycling through.
They've been redoing a decent amount because there's
again the ambiguity of the copyright, it threatens the entire website. If you have these claims, like it's a particular threat. So to avoid it, we have to make these necessary actions.
All right, so I think that was our last question, right?
Yeah, that was the last question.
So if you guys enjoyed this, please let us know. We will do more streams if you guys ask. Just let us know if there's a desire. We will meet it. So just be public. We're very active in Discord, so please, if you want to talk to us more, if you want to ask us questions more, you just want to reach out to us or hang out with our friends, chill in the Discord. We literally check it every day. So
absolutely. We were active before the quarantine.
Yes, we're always active on that, so it's the best way to reach us and to interact with us. All right. There's a couple other questions, but all right, this is a good question. I feel like we should talk a little about this, and then we'll definitely end it.
Sure. There's hard stop then.
Omar was just asking, what do you think about that guy in Russia trying to make money? Well, that guy, Andre Duskin, is basically, I don't know if you guys have heard.
Yeah.
But the SCP Wiki has gotten together. They've helped raise money, and they're literally trying. There's literally a court trial in Russia happening right now. They already went through like the first questioning or the first hearing, and it's probably going to take months or years. But we're definitely fighting him and him trying to claim that he has ownership of at least the Russian part of SCP. It doesn't affect us personally at all. But still, it's kind of setting a precedent.
It's solidarity for the fan base and for a shared universe that we all appreciate.
Yeah.
And I'll say, what it comes down to? The guy, I can understand why he is in this mindset, but he's entirely wrong. The copyright is very clear, and this guy put a lot of work into the SCP, and felt that he wasn't getting what he was owed. But if he that is entirely his own doing. If he wanted to, he took advantage of the franchise, knowing that people would come to it, that he would have these fans, consumers. He knew that, but he wasn't content to just share some of the the love, the fame from it. He needed to own it, and that's just selfish, and that's being naive, and not getting anywhere. The guy, he gets the kick out of being mentioned. He gets the kick out of being the bad guy. He saves it. It's a sad little man. It's a sad little man. What can I say? There's nothing more to it.
All right. Well, it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Great time talking to all of you. We'd love to do it again.
I definitely like the call-in aspect. I think we should definitely do that in the future.
I dig it.
It went pretty well. No one tried to N-bomb us, so.
Also, I haven't even begun.
All right.
Yeah.
You're breaking up. I don't know why. All of a sudden, it's like, they're like, nope, time to end. Now.
All right. Full plug.
All right, wait. I don't even have the Streamlabs up.
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe, guys. We'll be in touch. Again, follow our SP podcast. We have guest podcasts that people, SP creators, they're coming on.
Nice.
Everyone's quarantined, so, it's more than likely that
So
we're going to
guests
have
coming on the following days. Lost potentially streams that will be hosted my channel.
Yeah, so if you want to see gaming streams, FF Boys, everything's in the description, and then hopefully we'll be doing some VFX BTS streams at some point too. So hopefully we'll keep you all busy. All right, good night, guys, or good morning, depending where you are.
Good morning.